Hello, Iris J here with Madrona's Pulse Teachings. I hope this video finds you doing well. If you tune into my channel regularly, you will note that I look a little different. I had a transformation over the weekend while I was on the edge of the Canadian Pacific with those gorgeous waves of the open ocean. There is nothing like it. I can still hear them. I'm so grateful for that. I hope that your new year is off to a somewhat gentle start. As we know, there's always turbulence in the world out there, and I have heard from some folks that it's turbulent in here as well. And on that note, actually, let's talk about this new moon. So I wanted to make another video that's coming at the new moon in Capricorn from a slightly different angle. I do have another video on just really looking at the aspects of this new moon, which I will drop the link below for. But we have a new moon in Capricorn on January 11th. And this is a new moon that's exactly square the nodes of the moon. That right there suggests that this is a karmic moment when our path may be opening in a new direction, when we really bring this new moon and look at the bigger cycles that it's part of, especially with Pluto. And that's kind of the lens I want to focus on a little bit more at this video. We are in a path changing moment. And I really feel that this new moon cycle leading into the full moon that's coming on the 25th, which will have our sun in Aquarius opposite the moon in Leo, with Pluto in Aquarius, you know, that shift of this new moon into the full moon, this shift that January 2024 is just so indicative of the greater cycle that we are all part of. And so I just wanted to focus on how that might be showing up in our personal lives as we come into this new moon. So just to go over that again, this new moon, we have the sun and the moon together in Capricorn, right around 20 degrees. And they're in a very wide conjunction to Pluto, who will be at the 29th degree of Capricorn, getting ready to move into Aquarius, a move that happens on the 20th of January. And then we have our full moon on the 25th, when we will be in Aquarius season. And so the sun will be in Aquarius and it will be opposite the moon in Leo. That's our full moon. And then that sun will be in a closer conjunction to Pluto. Having moved past Pluto, the sun will be around 5 degrees of Aquarius, and Pluto will be right at the beginning of Aquarius, having begun this next cycle of Pluto in Aquarius, which we will move through into the fall. And then when Pluto is retrograde, we're going to dip back into the 29th degree of Capricorn for just a little taste of the closing of that cycle. And then it will move forward in November into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And this is 2024 in this bigger cycle is a transitional cycle. It is part of a much bigger transitional year. Some will also say that this is bringing up the themes of us moving into the much bigger age of Aquarius. And absolutely, the astrology that we're talking about is working with those themes coming up. And this new moon in Capricorn, you know, with Pluto being in a very wide conjunction, and then the fact that we move into that next stage where Pluto will be in Aquarius for our full moon, we may be seeing some of the shifts that we can embrace and imagine in our own lives. And that absolutely probably involves a bit of breakdown. This breakdown that has been in the final part of Capricorn, in our charts, in our psyches, in our lives, the way that our individual lives are part of the collective, because we have been seeing these outdated systems of social organization and constructs of power and ideas of power break down. And it will take quite a while to build in some ways, it will take quite a while to build new social organization. In other ways, it can happen so quickly when we allow the transformation in our own individual lives. And this might be part of what we're feeling in this new moon shifting into the full moon cycle that January is. And so as we come into this new moon, we do really want to pay attention to how we feel. I said in my other video, our reality shifting. This might be a whole new reality that's opening up. This is what that square to the nodes offers us with a new moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is our reality. It is how we structure our sense of reality. It is the boundaries between the known and the unknown. And the fact that then Pluto moves into Aquarius. Aquarius is a whole new understanding of how we organize the collective, of how our own individual kind of drive to resist the status quo that has been, to resist the outdated patterns that have been. It's an evolutionary jump. And then that we move into that full moon with the sun conjunct Pluto, which might give us little glimpses as we come into that full moon of what is to come, of what is to be, but we have to move through the Capricorn new moon to get there. So the Capricorn, a new moon in general is a time of becoming quiet. It is a time of listening in. It is a time of setting intentions. I think that is even more important with this new moon because of potentially what's at stake on a soul level, of what is present for us to tune into, to listen to witness from within dissolve. There's also a really beautiful aspect, which is that Mercury will be at the 27th degree of Sagittarius, square Neptune. So Mercury will be conjunct the galactic center, square Neptune. This is an opportunity for us to, on a very personal level, wherever that galactic center around 27 degrees of is in our chart, that's the area of our life, of our psyche, that it's going to come up within, that we may be able to get quiet enough during the new moon to listen to messages streaming in. These are Neptunian messages. These are higher mind, higher self, soul aligned, cosmic psyche aligned messages. This is way beyond our thinking cognitive mind. This is way beyond any egoic self. This is actually with Neptune there and Mercury conjunct the galactic center. This is our ego getting quiet enough to let Neptune stream through and communicate. It could be visions, it could be sudden understandings, it might be just coming into a somewhat stream of consciousness expression through journaling, but letting messages come through during this new moon that really speak to the spiritualizing of our path, that really speak to the way that, it's that spiritualizing that can allow reality to shift so suddenly, so drastically sometimes. And that energy is really supported by this new moon square the nodes. And with Pluto at this final shifting point, about to move into Aquarius on the 20th, and then we come into the illumination with the full moon on the 20th, and all of the way that our path is shifting, of what is changing for us in our life right now. Absolutely, this is aligned with that shifting of Pluto from Capricorn into Aquarius. So there could just be a lot of themes that are coming up. There could be a lot of insights. Also knowing, we can talk about the Neptune and the spiritual oneness and the mystical experiences and the spiritualizing. This is not to say it doesn't come with challenges. We are talking, Pluto is still going to go back into Capricorn. The cycle is not over. There is still a breakdown. There is absolutely still a collective breakdown. There is a breakdown within our psyche. The transitional period is kind of old patterns, what we've been conditioned, what we've been socialized, what life experience has taught us to believe in. That belief structure is potentially wanting to shift into a whole new organization of how we view reality. That is what's at stake here. So that might come with some resistance. That's why it can be really useful to get quiet, especially with the energies of this new moon, to get quiet so that we come into a place where we might witness our resistance, but we don't necessarily react to it. We create the structures that support us, whether that is journaling or going for a nice walk in nature or having coffee with a loved one and talking with that person about what we're feeling, or even sitting in silence with a loved one, whatever it is that supports us. But there is a drive to get quiet so that we can listen to what's coming up. We also might meet some grief. We might meet some fear. We might meet some fear so that we can see, well, this fear is based on something really old, or this fear is based on something that, even though it's part of this reality, it doesn't have to guide my life anymore. And that might be part of the breakthrough that comes. And then we can kind of, in a very small cycle with that full moon that's coming in, I will have another video on the full moon, we can come into an illumination of, well, if we've moved through witnessing the way that fear has structured our sense of self, or our sense of what we think is possible, that fear doesn't have to go away, but we can move past it. We can journey alongside with it, and we can suddenly see a whole other type of reality open up for us, which is absolutely aligned to the collective breakdown of outdated structures, outdated social organization, outdated ideas of what it is to be a human, as we do come into Pluto and Aquarius, which is potentially radical shifts of what the collective is all about and our own role within that. So these are all some themes that are coming up as we move through. We're getting much closer into that new moon vibes, as I like to call them now, and just sitting with it, seeing what comes up, and allowing ourselves to dream. The full moon that we have on the 25th is also going to be square Jupiter in Taurus. This is significant. We can move through this new moon. Sorry, Finnegan's excited about what I'm about to say, and we can come into some big dreams, okay? Some big dreams with the full moon. But first we have to move through this new moon, okay? So it could be tender, it could be exciting. We're all in different places. Our charts are all different. There could be some grief that comes up, but we want to allow so that we can move through. And with that, I leave you. New moon blessings, and take care.